From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a huge afternoon for July 2nd, 2022, as four stimulus checks of over $100,000 have landed in every U.S. state. In this recording, we're going to show you how to get these huge checks. You need to get them in view of the data that came in on Friday. It signaled that the U.S. economy may already be in recession. This is a shocker because it wasn't supposed to happen to 2023. What do? You become a member. You go right on this video right now and become a member. Join this channel and get those incredible checks coming up later in this recording. Stay to the very end. We're going to go over all these incredible four stimulus checks in every U.S. state. These stimulus checks were done by the president, by presidential funds, by executive order. They're not done by your state. That's why they're in every U.S. state. They're not state stimulus checks. They're federal money. Could there be more money for you coming right behind there? There is. As a familiar piece of legislation is heading to the finish line once again. Put some gasoline in that tow truck and get that tow hitch hooked up. And I know the price of gasoline is higher, but you're going to get it over the finish line, because guess what? The Build Back Better is going to a vote. Whoa, this is huge. Those would be additional checks on top of these $100,000 checks. I'm going to get you in today's recording. You don't wait to get these four stimulus checks in every U.S. state, because the data that came in the last few hours of late Friday was a shocker. The U.S. economy may already be in a recession. The concern is the negative GDP growth of this economy as inflation continues to grow and recession's still there, or coming, or already arrived. I'll go over the latest details on the concern about stagflation and how this is growing by the minute, by the hour. What you need to do is to prepare your family accordingly. You need to know where this economy is, where it's going, and get every pound of money you can. In this recording, we're going to go over what the Federal Reserve is doing on the equation, what the White House is doing as well, what Congress is doing, what you should do this moment, this day, by becoming a member of this channel, going right under the video and becoming a member to prepare your family for phase 2. That is just days away in September. That's what I call the financial cliff, detailed by Jay Powell and Liz Warren just days ago. We'll go over everything you need to know, and it starts by getting this big money on a big day, a big afternoon for July 2nd, 2022. It's Afternoons. And good afternoon, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. It is a gorgeous day here along the coast for 4th of July weekend. It is July 2nd, 2022. And you know what's happening? A financial cliff is approaching, and it's just days away as September comes upon us. Days away as a recession's looming as well. Gasoline's remaining high. CPI is going to go higher with gas high, and the Federal Reserve raising rates. But could that recession, which was supposed to be in phase 3, starting in January, already here in phase 1. This was the shocker that everyone almost unpacked their bags before the 4th of July weekend, saying, honey, we're not leaving town. The recession's already arrived. Did you hear the news? Right before millions of Americans were about to jet away for 4th of July weekend, the Atlanta Fed released their number and said, the U.S. economy's already in recession. Honey, we're supposed to be able to leave home, and the recession's not supposed to come to 2023. Well, this is a big shocker. This is a big shocker. And this is the narrative we've been dealing with for a long time. The economy is too hard to predict, and while my predictions have been spot on, there's always a shocker. And it came with the Atlanta Fed's GDP Now, a tracker that has a zero rate of error in nearly a decade. Whoa. The data shows that for the second quarter of 2022, which just ended on June 30th, they're reporting a negative 1% growth of the U.S. economy, called the GDP. This follows after confirmed negative growth for the first quarter of this year of the U.S. economy of 1.6%. Remember, a recession is defined by 2 negative quarters of GDP growth. So if the Atlanta Fed's GDP now is correct, we're already in recession. We're already in recession. Now, let's go over everything you need to know right off the bat. Before I go in the analysis of this number, I want you to understand, very important, that there was supposed to be a downward spiral of this economy before we go in recession. And that downward spiral is going to have a financial cliff coming in September. But if the recession's already here, this is not a financial cliff. It's a financial. It's not a financial cliff. It's like a financial sinkhole. It's just it's like a financial suction cup, vortex. Imagine that even I did not realize we're in a recession if this data is correct. Now I'm going to go back to the data in a second. This means that Americans are not prepared accordingly. It means Americans are jetting away for the 4th of July weekend, spending money, traveling, thinking the economy is great, and yet the Fed says, you're in a recession? Excuse me? What did I miss when I was, honey, I thought you turned off the electric before we left. No, and apparently the recession came when we're gone. This is a big shocker, and no one saw this data coming. Now, let me go over the significance of the data by going back to our graphic on this channel. The graphic on this channel was those phases. I've identified phases of this economy now to September, which is basically the contraction of the U.S. economy. Then September to January, that's basically the financial cliff starting September 1. And the January 2023 to 2024, the recession. Now, if the recession has already arrived 2 phases earlier, what are you waiting for then? You got to become a member. You got to go in this video right now and become a member to get those stimulus checks over $100,000 a person. Let me give you a preview of those checks. They're coming up late in this video. Stay with me over this big broadcast. These 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state are federal stimulus. They aren't state stimulus. So when I say they're in the state, it means they're sort of parked in the state. Doesn't mean it's done by the state. Let's make clear what it is and what it isn't. It's not state stimulus checks. It's not state stimulus checks. It's not paid by the states. It's not voted by the states. It's not state law. It's not done by your state governor. It's not done by anyone in the state that you absolutely despise. Because I see your comments. I hate my governor. Yeah, it's not their money. It's not their law. It's not their checks. What is their involvement with it? Basically, they put the stamp on the envelope. This is federal money from the federal government, pursuant to federal law, and it's not the Congress. It's Joe Biden by executive order starting the month of March. I've been featuring on this channel since the month of March. Viewers have gotten it. And it has nothing to do with Congress. It's nothing to do with vote. It's by executive order. And the checks add up to over $100,000. Single individual, $75,000 less. Go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less. Go get it. If you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children, if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI. How do you get them? They're coming up later in this recording. I'll show you how you get them later in this recording. But let's go back to why you need to get them right now. When you look at these phases, if we're in a recession now in July, when it's not supposed to be arriving to next year, this is deeply troubling. So are we in a recession, or are we in a warning zone? My opinion is we are in a warning zone. Let me tell you what the time horizon is for you to understand. Let's start, of course, first with definition. A recession is defined when 2 negative quarters of growth of the economy. What's a quarter? 3 months. So 2 negative quarters of growth in this U.S. economy. Did I say? It's 3 months. 2 negative quarters of, 3 times 4 is 12. There's 2 negative quarters of growth in the U.S. economy. We just ended our second quarter. And we already know the first quarter was negative growth. So when will we have the confirmation that the second quarter is or isn't negative growth? We're not going to have that confirmation until July 28th. So imagine July 28th. You're having your cup of coffee, you have the newspaper out, and then your significant other runs in the room and says, Ellie was right. We're in a recession already. Get your bags and pack. We're running for it. Imagine the shocker when you wake up July 28th and you learn you're already in recession. Well, what the Fed GDP now is trying to prevent is the shocker by saying, you know what? I don't have to have you wait till July 28th. You're already in recession right now. Folks, this is a shocker. And this is why you prepare accordingly with this channel. This is why you prepare ahead of time. You have a 28-day lead. Well, it's the second now, so you have a 26-day leadway before the shocker of a potential announcement on July 28th that the U.S. economy is already in a recession. What is my prediction? It's going to say we're going to learn on July 28th that we already are in a recession. I believe that will be the shocker. Why am I going with that prediction? Because of the track record of the Atlanta Fed's GDP now, which is over the period from 2011 to 2019. Their tracking error has averaged zero. Yeah, no, that I should take that to the horse races. Don't take that to the horse races. You would win really well. I'll do the trifecta because they have a 0% error. This is incredible. This is what written by Nicholas Colas, co-founder of DataTrack, this weekend. As a result, if you believe this tracker is correct, and you believe that on July 28th we're going to be informed that the U.S. economy is already in recession, then you need to prepare accordingly. How do you prepare? You do the following three things. First, you eliminate all extraneous expenditures you don't need. Number two, you remove all adjustable rate debt, which is car loans, credit card debt, anything that has a rate that adjusts. And you get as many stimulus checks as you can in every U.S. state. We're going to go over those checks for you. You build up your savings right away. Now, Jeremy Siegel, who has been really tracking the same data that I have, and we've been apples on apples since day one, says, I don't think we're going to have a severe recession. He's the Wharton professor of finance. But here's the Department of Bureau of Economic Research says that, and this is interesting, 2 negative quarters of GDP growth is not necessarily a recession. However, when that has happened, it has always resulted in a recession since World War II. So the takeaway is that this may not be the recession, even if it qualifies for the definition of it, but it would result in the recession shortly thereafter. If you've been with this channel throughout 2022, let me tell you what's going on. If you just found this channel, let me tell you what's going on. This is LALATE, the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America. And my predictions on this economy have been spot on for a very long time. In February this year, I was the only broadcaster in financial news to report that we're going to recession next year. No one would dare use the word recession in February. Then when we had that sort of domino effect of very bad news in May with Walmart corporate earnings and Target, suddenly people started talking about recession. By then, we only had one bank. We had Deutsche Bank saying recession next year. Now, most analysts say there will be a recession next year. They disagree upon when in the year, but they agree upon it. But what I'm warning to you, at least before this weekend, is that there's a financial cliff before the recession. What is a financial cliff? And when is it? First, let's go over when is it. In my opinion, it is September. What is a financial cliff? A financial cliff is basically what it sounds like. You're walking along, singing a song, you're on the ground and having a beautiful day, running by the beach with your friends, and suddenly you trip and you fall into a massive sinkhole. No, you fall off the side of a hill. That is a financial cliff that you did not see coming. And what is that financial cliff? The financial cliff is a change of the economy from where it is to something else. And as you see a beautiful 4th of July weekend where Americans are packing airports and spending $500 round-trip domestic airfares, going out and spending and paying for massive gasoline prices, then they just think this economy is the same as it's going to be when they get back from 4th of July. It's not. The situation is the following. One, you're going to see the financial cliff, in my opinion, manifest itself in 3 different ways. Number one, you're going to see unemployment surge dramatically. The unemployment claims were released last Thursday, and it's the 3rd consecutive week of over 250,000 unemployment claims. Number two, we'll go back to those unemployment claims in a second. Number two, you're going to see corporate earnings continue to contract when Q2's corporate earnings are released in the 2nd week of July. Number three, you're going to start to see more financial strain, whether it's lower consumer confidence, lower consumer spending, the mortgage industry, the housing industry, lots of very bad data. Which do I think is going to manifest itself first? I really believe it's going to be a combination of both bad labor numbers and also bad corporate numbers. And how bad would it be for people to say that's the financial cliff? I think it would really be anything for corporate earnings that's sort of consistent of what we've seen for the last 3 months. It started in the month of May when Walmart and Target reported corporate earnings for Q1 2022. Americans thought this economy was great. And then those earnings come in and they were shocked. That's when the stock market crashed. That's what started the bear market. Imagine how close it's been. It's literally been less than 2 months that we sunk into a bear market. And Americans have been losing their shirts ever since. Just going to the weekend. Bed Bath & Beyond reported corporate earnings, and their stock was down 20% in one day. You're going to see a lot of that when those Q2 earnings are reported in the next 2 weeks. I'm reporting. You can see the banks right after 4th of July reporting earnings as well. I think that the unemployment will come in shortly thereafter. Why? Because this is what's going to happen. The corporate earnings are going to be weak. The corporations are going to say, we're going to tighten up our expenditures by laying people off. And then you start to see the numbers come in delayed 1 or 2 weeks out. Back 4 weeks ago, when we were looking at the unemployment numbers, I said, I don't like these numbers. It's supposed to be 108,000 new jobless claims per week, because that's what it was before we went into the pandemic. But it was 200,000. I immediately projected 3 weeks ago that the next week would be 230. Did I get it right? It came in at 227. Then the week after that, I said 230 again. What happened? It went to 232. What happened this last week? It came in at 231. 3 consecutive weeks, I've been getting it right. What am I projecting next? Another week of 230, but I got to tell you, as soon as someone sees a 240, 250, or higher unemployment claim week, that is what's going to make people say, there it is, that's the financial cliff. Or another week in which you see massive corporate earnings miss day after day, hour after hour, that's when Americans are going to say, that's the financial cliff. And what does the financial cliff mean for you? Let's go over the impact of it on you. First, remember, you got to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. This is the why of why you got to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. We're going to go over how to get those forced stimulus checks in just a second. But the why is so important, and that financial cliff is even more important. What's going to happen? You're going to see a financial cliff impact Americans for 1, employment, 2, savings, 3, small business owners. Let's go over each of them, starting right now. First, Americans are going to get laid off. And then they're going to think there's another job ready to hire them. There won't be. They're going to think they can do a salary raise or a hiring bonus. There won't be that opportunity. Then they're going to think they can get the unemployment assistance they got from the first stimulus package. Gone. Not around. So they will not have the opportunity to get extra weeks called PEUC, unemployment benefits for independent contractors called PUA, or that boost $600 per week called FPUC. All those items are no longer a law. Small business owners are going to be in big trouble because there will be no EIDL grant, no EIDL loan, no PPP. And when they cannot make their bills, they're going to lose their business. Then for seniors, for people on benefits and similar, they're going to be looking high and low and wondering, where is that lift for my benefits now? Where is that extra $600 check now? Where is that extra money for me now? And they will be shocked that there's nothing potentially landing that minute unless they do something. That is why a financial cliff is right upon us. That financial cliff is just days away, and you can't wait for it to happen. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over why it's so important to get those forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. And those forced stimulus checks became law in the month of March, and it's wonderful. Over $100,000. Viewers have done so well on getting these big checks. Let's look at the rest of the news going into the weekend. The stock market remained relatively flat going into the weekend, so same with the NASDAQ. Bitcoin has fallen under 19,000 several times throughout the weekend. Ethereum under 1,000 sporadically. But also telling is that the price of Brent crude has been hovering a little bit lower, about 111. Deal on gasoline? No. What happening with the gasoline? A real travesty. Gasoline, remember, is what's going to send this economy in recession. Let's go over the equation. The way gasoline works is very simple. Number one, when you have a shortage of gasoline, the gasoline prices go up. If the gasoline prices go up, how do you get them down? You remove the shortage. You go get the gasoline. Where? From our ground? No. We don't have enough gasoline in our ground to remove the shortage. Where? From 5 countries. Venezuela, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, OPEC+. And if you don't get the gasoline replaced, the price stays up. Going into the weekend, the President of the United States was at a NATO conference, and he said a series of comments that are just simply inaccurate, hideously inaccurate. We don't know why he continues to say these inaccurate statements about gasoline. Either he's being advised inaccurately by his team, or he truly believes the inaccuracy of his own statements. What is he saying? First, he's saying in the latest comments this weekend that gasoline prices remain high because of Putin. They don't remain high because of Putin. They remain high because of Joseph Biden, Emmanuel Macron, Chancellor Scholz, the Western allies, Germany, France, United States, and similar. Why? When the Western allies agreed to ban Russian oil, they understood they had to go get the oil somewhere else. Pretty simple? Yes. You don't have it, you go buy it somewhere else. Did they ever go and get the oil? No. So they're sitting around just repeating the narrative of the original cause and saying it's a continued cause when they're the cause. They're the reason the gasoline has not gone down because they haven't gone out and bought the oil. Now, can they buy the oil? What are they doing to buy the oil? Let's go to the equation on each of them. Venezuela? Well, they had a conference here in Los Angeles earlier this last month, and the White House didn't invite Venezuela. Gone. Brazil, same thing. Gone. Saudi Arabia. The President of the United States says he's going to Saudi Arabia, but he will not be discussing oil. Gone. And then OPEC Plus. Gone. Iran. Last possibility. Let's see if we can do it. Let's try. No. Iran actually spoke about the situation going into the weekend. It's called the JCPOA. It's an agreement that predates Putin invading Ukraine. It involves Iran disarming the nuclear warheads. In exchange for that, the U.S. would remove embargoes against Iranian products, like oil. Iran has the 3.5 million barrels of gasoline missing per day because of the Putin embargoes. So did the White House narrow and finish the deal? In the month of April, the negotiations were being done on behalf of the United States by Germany and France. Not particularly clear why the United States wasn't negotiating itself. But going into the weekend, we heard from Iran. It's that the White House's demands are ridiculous. Though the White House has not really pivoted at all, has really just had the same position since day one of the negotiations, the deal's not going to get done. Does that sound like someone who wants to get a deal? Does it sound like someone who wants to get a deal? The fake narratives coming out of the White House continue to be fake, which is that ExxonMobil are to blame for the price of gasoline. No. There's 3.5 million barrels of gasoline missing for all the Western allies. ExxonMobil doesn't have access to 3.5 million barrels. It's not in the ground. It's not in the Keystone Pipeline. It's not in U.S. soils. It's not off the Gulf of Mexico. Going into the weekend, the White House says we're considering pumping more gasoline out of the Gulf of Mexico. Again, there's not 3.5 million barrels of gasoline there. What are we talking about? This is like talking $2 versus $2 million. The White House continues to do it, and people think it's believable. It's not believable. Second, the White House said that the American people need to continue to endure the current price of gasoline going forward. They cannot. Third, and finally, the president has announced a taxed holiday for your gasoline that you pay at the pump, where he potentially would get Congress to not have you pay for the taxes on the gasoline. How much does it save you? $1.80. Much of a solution? No, it's not a solution. Now, let me tell you why this is a big problem. It's this graphic. Watch this graphic, look at it very carefully. The way the inflation in the United States works is the following. Inflation has a series of different numbers, but one of the key numbers used, the most popular of the numbers the American consumer understands, you and me, and the one that the Federal Reserve said last month that they used for their determination that month is called the CPI. It's in the second line of that graphic. The Consumer Price Index. What is that number? It is a number dependent upon two other numbers, gasoline and cost of goods like supermarket groceries. Every month the number's released for the month before. We got this month now we're in July. In the month of June, we got the main number, and it showed that the CPI went higher than expected because gasoline went higher and because food went higher. As the CPI goes higher, then what happens is the Federal Reserve raises rates. As the Federal Reserve raises rates, does gasoline go down? No. And so the net result is that we continue to repeat the process until we go into recession. Now, here's the problem. As the White House continues to not get gasoline pumped and bought from those 5 countries, gasoline prices remain high. The CPI remains high, and the Federal Reserve will continue to raise rates. And how do we know that's true? the data that came in on the Thursday before this 4th of July weekend. That data that came in on Thursday was really a slap in the face. A slap in the face. Ouch. Not my face. My face is not getting slapped. It's a slap in the face for Jay Powell. The number was the benchmark that the Federal Reserve and Jay Powell usually use to determine inflation. It's called the core personal consumption. Watch what happened to this number. This is a lot of laughs. Watch it. Here we go. In the month of April, in the month of March, it was 6.6%. Okay, March, 6.6%. Then Jay Powell comes in and starts raising interest rates to get inflation down. It's 6.6%. So then what happens in the next month, April? 6.3%. Did it work? No, it only got down 0.3%. Then we have the month of May that was released on Thursday. And this is after Jay Powell has done 3/4 of a basis point increase, half basis point increase, quarter basis point increase. How much success has Jay Powell done when he started in the month of March at 6.6 and then went to the month of April at 6.3? What did May come in at? 6.3. It's just get out. It's like comedy hour. It's just like comedy hour. It's just like, it's like some batter who says, I'm gonna hit a home run, and I'm gonna hit a home run. He goes up and he just strikes out. And you're like, you're just such a doofus. Not calling Jay Powell that name. I'm just saying, this is just like ridiculous. It's sort of like Linus and Charlie Brown. No, Lucy and Charlie Brown. Who pulls the football out? I forgot. It's Lucy that pulls the football out. You go to kick the football and then pulls the football. He doesn't have the tools. He doesn't have the tools. And if he went to one of those home improvement stores over the 4th of July weekend, he will still not have the tools. He does not have the tools to get inflation down. That is why inflation continues to track higher. Boy, folks, you got to get that 4th stimulus check in every U.S. state. Now, we have a lot of great news in the second half. First, we're going to go over those $100,000  4th stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Oh, my goodness. Then we're going to go over the return of the Build Back Better Act. My goodness. The Build Back Better Act is back on, baby, and it's going to potential vote in just a few days. This is exciting. What does it mean for you and your wallet? I'll be going over the latest details on this in the second half. Then we'll be going over briefly over the raise of your benefits. If you're on SSI and SSDI, it's been confirmed, but going to look at whether their numbers are correct or a little bit undervalued. Plus, we'll have a preview of tonight's Evenings LA in prime time. First, here's a little bit about the community page. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds, but first, become a member during the commercial break. Go right on this video and become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Go right on this video where it says join the channel. And in the second half, we're going to get those huge checks. You deserve them. You're going to get them. You get them because the financial cliff is coming. You're not going to fall. You're going to get all those incredible checks. I'll see you back in 60 seconds on our beautiful afternoons. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement starts right now in a big, bold, beautiful second half of Afternoons LA from the shores of Santa Monica, California. This beautiful 4th of July weekend. Hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm excited you're here. Programming note, I'll be recording all weekend long. Next new show is tonight in prime time. It's Evenings LA at 5 o'clock tonight. And then, of course, join me live for LA Live tonight as well at 5:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's a big night with so much at issue, but the big question mark is how soon? The answer is right now. Not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. It's those 4 stimulus checks. You're going to go right on this video and become a member. Become a member right now where it says join the channel under the video, and you can get those 4 stimulus checks right now. We're going to go over those incredible checks right now as well. How are you? Hope you're having a beautiful weekend and hope you're not overheated. You know, it was really warm, more inland yesterday here in Los Angeles. It was just brutal. It was, just brutally hot. But as you got closer to the coast, it was cool like me. All right, let's get to the great details of the big second half. The President of the United States back in the month of March, by executive order, did a series of 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state, and these are wonderful. Viewers back in the month of March said, LA, can you find me some checks? And I found them for the viewership of the channel. Let's go over these checks first, what they are, then the eligibility, then how you get them. First, what are these checks? They're from the federal government. They are from exactly the president, by the executive branch of the presidency. So what's important to understand is that when I say they're in every U.S. state, it means that you can get them if you live in every U.S. state. This is not money from your states. This is not state stimulus checks. I'll say it again. It is not state stimulus checks. It's not from your state governor. It's not from your state legislator. It's not from your state. It's not state money. It's not state law. It's not state issued. They may put the stamp on the envelope. But other than that, that's basically it. That is why this money is always covered on this channel, because it's federal stimulus. I only cover federal stimulus on this channel. Second, eligibility. It's you. Go get it. Single individual, $75,000 or less, go get it. Married couple, if your annual income is $150,000 or less, go get them. If they're renting, if you're owning, if you have children, if you don't have children, go get them. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, or more, go get them. Notice that verb in all those sentences, go get them. You got to move to groove. You got to learn to earn. You have to go out and get these checks because they're massive. They're over $100,000. Finally, you need to forget how things were in 2020. It's a different year, a different way that things work, and a lot more money. A lot more money means you got to do it the way it's done now, which means you got to get them. How do you get them? We're going to go over that starting right now. I've given them a lettering system on this channel, starting with the letter A, because, that's the start of the alphabet. And then we continue thereafter to B, because that's the next letter. Last time I checked. It's always kind of trying to cut out of order. B's always trying to go ahead of A, but we're not allowing it. So it's very disruptive, that letter B. But let's get these incredible checks. You're ready? Here we go. The first check is $6,500 to $12,000. A 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. Here it is. Go get it. $6,500 to $12,000. 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less. Go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, or go get it. If you rent, if you are on benefits, go get it. How do you get these incredible checks? Step 1. Go under this video and become a member where it says join the channel under the video. Step 2, subscribe. Step 3, open that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and go right down to it says check A. Click the link, and then it will send you into the nationwide website. Choose your state, then choose the homeowner's weatherizing grant, and you're ready to rock and roll. Average payout times, routing times are about 1 week after processing. You're not going to stop there yet. You're going to go get check B. Whoa, $15,000 to $80,000  4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. The average payout for viewers of this channel has been $66,000 to $80,000. This has been paying out since month of March as well, so you can't wait to get this money. Single individual, 75,000 or less, go get it. Married couple, 150,000 or less, go get it. If you're on benefits like SSI or SSDI, go get it as well. How do you get it? Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, go under the video and become a member. Where it says join the channel, click the link and become a member. Then get that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and go right down to check B in the newsletter. Tells you a little bit more about it, then has a link. Click the link, you go into the Nationwide website, choose your state, and then you pounce. Look how much money we have already covered in the last 2 minutes of this video. Check A, $6,500 to $12,000. Check B, $80,000. We're clearly over nearly $100,000, and we're just getting started. You want more money? There is check A. It is wonderful. It is an MSC, monthly stimulus check, on average of $2,000 a month over 12 months, but many viewers are tracking it over $24,000. How do you get this incredible check? Many viewers are tracking it at $45,000. How do you get this incredible check? See, you know the routine. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. Go down the membership newsletter when you find Check C, and there it tells you at Check C who to call, what to say, and how to say it. Check C is, in my opinion, going to be one of the most important checks of 2022. Why? We gave a teaser of it early in this video, but let's recap because now it comes all back together. We see first we understood the why of the importance of getting these checks. Now you understand the how. Now we're going to go back to the why again. You get a contact, you get a message from your landlord. You're behind the rent, I'm evicting you. And you think to yourself, but wait a second, there's an eviction moratorium, isn't there? There isn't. It was gone in 2020. You need to go get Check C. What about people who think there's a mortgage forbearance so that they cannot be foreclosed upon by their bank? There is not. That's why you have to go get Check C. What about people who are going to see that electric bill, that heating oil bill, that gas bill in December through the roof, 300%, 400% potentially up later this year? You look at the bill and say, I can't afford this. They won't turn off the utilities, will they? Yeah, they will. It's a different year, a different time. You got to go get Check C. This is why Check C is so important. The viewership of this channel has been getting Check C since December 20. If you're new to this channel has been getting viewers over $15 million since it's launched in April 25th, 2020. And how do I do it? I tell them where it is, how to get it, and I give them the details you ain't going to see anywhere else. And many times, viewers surprise me with their success stories even more than that. Let's look at the success stories that viewers have had. If you want to talk about Check C's, then look at the rents. These are rents that viewers have gotten for Check C's. From Ssi at $20,000 all the way up to Elizabeth at nearly $30,000. What about utilities? If you want these type of numbers for utilities, go get Check C's. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000 a year from this channel. Snap, the same brother-in-law is getting $25,000 a year over 10 years, $250,000. If you want a combination of Check C's, then get Check C. Look at these numbers. Combination of Check C's, Ssi. She was a 23, Mark was a 32. Where are they today? Ssi's $50,000, Mark is $166,000. This is because these viewers listen and learn when I say keep on getting sums of money. They do on a regular basis. Ssi went from $23,000 to $50,000. Mark went from $32,000 to $50 to $100. Now he's at $166 because he got Check B just a few days ago. Lorraine, she was at $105. Now she's nearly at $150,000. So recap, these are the things that you need to do right this second. Go right in this video, hit that subscribe button, number 1. Number 2, go right in this video. There's a little, or at the front of this channel, there's a little bell. Hit that bell and make sure it's set to all notifications on. Number 3, go under the video where it says, become a member. Become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino, VIP. And then get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. Let's go over that first. It's 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so know your time zone. Number 2, it's sent via the YouTube alerts. And the YouTube alert at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time will say the title, New LA Post, and the first line will say LA Newsletter. Go down in the alert till it says click here to go to the post. You go into the post and you're ready to rock and roll. Finally, make sure you remain signed in to your YouTube account. So if you're using the platform, if you're watching this video, make sure you're always signed in. If you're in the live chat and you write something in a post and you see the emoji behind it, you're signed in. If you sign out, if your cell phone signs you out, you can't see stuff or interact like a member because suddenly it's not recognizing you as that person. Make sure you are always signed in when using YouTube. And there you go. And is there a surprise? There is a surprise. Do you hear it? Do you hear it? It's lobsters clawing at my leg because Mitch is upset because the Build Back Better Act is back, baby. Oh my goodness. What's going on, LA? Here we go. The Build Back Better Act, the brainchild of the Democratic Party of 2021, is back on, baby. And I have a lot of news for you today. And it shocked everyone when I delivered the shocker of a news yesterday. The Build Back Better Act is an incredible piece of legislation. And what I want to go over is first, where is it right now? Where is it heading? What will it be? And finally, what should you do? First, let's start with what you should do. You need to get every fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state, which I've already gone over. That money is there now. It's law there now. It's over $100,000. Why should you not wait for a Build Back Better Act? Because it's not confirmed done. Number two, it's not going to pay you $100,000. Number three, it will pay you something at some point, and that some point will likely be after the financial cliff has hit. So imagine you fall off a cliff, and you know what happens when you fall off a cliff. Yeah, I'll be at the funeral. You don't wait after the financial cliff. You wait, but you get the money before the financial cliff. Right now, the $100,000. The Build Back Better Act is for people who fall off a financial cliff. And does it pick them up? Well, yeah. So you get the money I have for you right now. And then when Build Back Better Act becomes law, you get that money on top of that, on top of it, in addition to it. All right, so let me tell you the update on Build Back Better Act. First, a lot of great news. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, in a collective press release released by both of them, say that they believe the vote will be happening by late July. Schumer said the legislation will reach the floor for action and vote as soon as late July. So they believe that the vote is going to be done by late July. They believe it's going to get done before the midterm elections. My opinion of the situation... yeah, that's my opinion of the situation. How many times have I talked about the promises of July by legislators on this channel? Yeah. In July of 2020, the Democrats said that they were going to, and they said they're going to extend FPC. They didn't. It expired, and everyone got cheated out of $12,000. In 2021, they said they're going to do the Build Back Better Act by July. They didn't, and in fact, they didn't get it done by that Christmas either. So how much am I laughing every time they say we're going to get it done by July? Well, maybe September. Let's go to the next part of the equation. What is the negotiation update on the Build Back Better Act? It's really good news. This is all breaking news, folks. First, we know that the Four Corners met last week. This is the Four Corners of the Democrats of House and Senate, and they agreed upon the tentative provisions of the Build Back Better Act. Wow, this is huge. This is really huge. The Four Corners are the four most important people in the Democrats for the House and Senate, and they agreed upon the provisions. Number three, they also report that they have had negotiations between Schumer and Manchin on nearly a regular basis for several weeks, and they did have a breakthrough agreement solidified between Schumer and Manchin on prescription medication prices lower. This is a monstrous win. All right. With that, then let me go over the reactions and finally the substance. The reactions are exactly what you think. And I want to go over those reactions with you because these are very important. First, Faux News, Faux News, that's F-A-U-X, is doing the same thing they're doing as always. They're running Joe Manchin quotes from 2021. You know what? It's dead. It's this, it's that. Those are old quotes. So do not send me a private message saying you read Faux News because Faux News is Faux News. Those are old quotes. That's not the update. Manchin says he's going to get the Build Back Better Act done, and it's going to get done. Number two, the quotes from McConnell is sort of like, the old 50 Cent song. You're not in the club, you can't get in. Sorry, bitch. You're not in the club, you can't get in. It's not lobster night. So McConnell just fumed in a series of tweets going on the weekend saying, I'm going to block the Build Back Better Act. I'm like, we don't need your vote for the Build Back Better Act. Remember, if you're new to this channel, the Build Back Better Act is called a reconciliation bill. Reconciliation bill means you don't need any Republican votes to pass it. You just do it with Democrat votes in both the House and the Senate. Now, let me make something really clear, because I just know this is going to confuse people, because the wording sounds confusing. McConnell says we're going to withdraw support of the bipartisan legislation if you continue with the recon. And you may hear that and you're like, the what? Is that the roads and bridges again? The what about the roads and bridges law? I mean, what is he talking about? Let me make this very clear, because I know this is going to confuse people. It's a different bipartisan. There is a bipartisan piece of legislation out there that Congress is working, Republicans and Democrats as a team. And it's regarding chips, semiconductor chips, chips for cars, chips for computers, chips for your chocolate chips, for your chocolate chip cookies. Lots of chips. It's a bipartisan negotiation, Republicans, Democrats, House and Senate. He's saying that if you Democrats try to do the recon, then we're going to withdraw support for the chips. Am I worried about it? No. Am I worried about manufacturers and their chips? No, I'm not worried about it. But I want to make this very clear. It's not the roads and bridges. That was a different bipartisan from a different year. Is he trying to confuse you on purpose? Probably. Probably. That's what Mitch is very good at. The White House's reaction. Let's go over some other reactions. The press secretary. We're not going to back down the face of this outrageous threat. Well, thank you. Nancy Pelosi. There's no reason we should not get this passed through Congress in July. Yeah, there is a reason. You butchered the month of July in 2 prior years. If she said that quote to me face to face, I'd say, Nancy, you in the month of July do not have a really good track record. When was the last time you in the month of July had a good track record? 1942? So then, Portman says the bipartisan should not be part of the issue. And then I like Donald Byer. I love his quote from Virginia. He says, this is classic McConnell, just sort of confusing the situation by talking about nonsense. It is nonsense. What I need you to understand is that the Build Back Better Act is going to get done. It's going to pay you money, and the money is not going to come soon enough. So you do not wait for the Build Back Better Act. You do not wait for it. I will cover it. I will tell you when it happens. I will tell you how to get the money. I will tell you everything you need to know about the negotiations as it's leading up to the moment. But I'm also going to tell you every single video. You get the money that's available today. It's $100,000. The financial cliff is in front of you. It's a question mark of how close it is to your feet, as we see that data from the recession out of the Atlanta Fed this weekend. If it's that close, you absolutely don't wait for Build Back Better Act. I mean, this is ridiculous. That financial cliff is right in front of our feet. You grab this money right away. Finally, one last note is the raising up of your benefits and that wonderful LATE worksheets. Your benefits are going to go up. And how much are they going to go up? On Evenings LA tonight, we're going to go over the analysis of it. It is what's called COLA. And it's dependent upon a number. And that number is dependent upon, guess what? Yeah, it's a familiar narrative, gasoline. If gasoline remains high for the month of July, August, and September, your benefits could likely go up 9% across the board. That would be more than SS300. That would be SS350, maybe almost $400. We're going to go over the number calculation together as a family in prime time tonight on Evenings LA. What is Social Security saying? They're saying at least 8% your benefits are going to go up. How do you calculate this? How do you do the analysis with a pen and paper? Very simply, you become a member, and it's in the LATE worksheets. The LATE worksheets have been a real hit among viewers. They are for members. When you get that membership newsletter, the third line of the membership newsletter, after the price of gasoline tonight and the price of wheat and corn, is the LATE worksheets. Again, totally unique, only to this channel, created by me, written by me. It's a PDF with 5 pages to it. Print it out if you don't have a printer, then make notes based upon looking at the PDF on a separate piece of paper. Page 1 as a place for you to take notes about what you hear in the video. Inflation, recession, labor, and the Federal Reserve. Because you have to know where this economy is and where it's going. Page 2 is one of the most popular pages. It is a table that goes through for members what you have done for forced stimulus. First, it'll go over the checks like A, B, and C. Then it has a column, the date you applied, how much you got paid, what months you got paid, the contact name and number, because it's so important to keep that track, because you're going to reach back to that same person in a few months and get another round. It's also important to keep track of which months you were paid for. So when you go back and say, I want more months, you say, I wasn't paid for these months yet. I need assistance. Then there is an incredible page in there as well for your beneficiaries to calculate out how much your benefits would go up based upon that 50 stimulus raise. And that is this incredible table. If it's 8%, you can do the calculation. If it's 9%, we'll do it together tonight on Evenings LALATE. Pull the worksheet out for you. This is all for members. One of the many benefits that members get from this channel. There's a page on Ssi Ssdi which goes over gasoline prices. We're going to go over more about that tonight. We heard a lot about it early in this video. And then finally, the last page is student loan debt forgiveness. My prediction, the president is about to announce $10,000 student loan debt forgiveness for all individuals who make $150,000 or less across the board. And I believe that announcement is coming before mid-August. The president already forgave debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation, went to work in the nonprofit or public sector after graduation, or work whose debts were procured by fraud by the university against them. And that is why, my friends, you become a member. You become a member. Now you see why, how, and how soon. Because there's a financial cliff. This economy is getting very bad very quickly. Whether we are in a recession tonight or heading into one in January like I'm predicting, and whether the gasoline will stay where it is or go higher, a recession is happening. The financial cliff will happen. The question mark is when. And you don't have to wonder when the financial cliff is happening if you do everything recorded in this chat, in this video. Become a member, go right under this video, get that newsletter. Become a member under this video, then get the newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Get those 4 small checks in every U.S. state. Remove the extraneous debt in the household, especially if it's based upon a flexible interest rate, because Jay Powell is going to be raising those rates. Remove excess costs that you do not need in the house. And then know where this economy is every day, know where it's going, and get as much money as you can to bulk up your savings. And also, tune in tonight for Evenings LALATE in prime time as we go over more about this incredible money. It's at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, happy 4th of July. I'll see you tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time as Evenings LALATE kicks its feet up underway.